Hey, it's just me for now. Brantley's reconfiguring some stuff and some data, and the computer lingo. Hey, gabagool. The usual. But I'm going to play a really funny trick on him and start streaming. And then when he joins, he'll be like, hey, are you ready to stream? And I'll be like, yeah. And then he'll say some really embarrassing stuff about himself because he thinks that he's not on air. He'll be like, hey, I sort of still like certain magical index. I know. That's what he's going to say. I can feel it. Although he probably got notified that I started streaming without him, which will make this joke not funny. Oh, he sent me a Discord message. Oh, call him when he's ready. Dang, that was 10 minutes ago. Oops. Hey, Brantley, we're live. I didn't see your thing because I had the Streamlab open.
What?
We're live. I started streaming, and
we're
because
just now live. Okay.
no, yeah, well, because here's the thing: when you boot up Streamlabs, it makes Discord go silent. But also, here's a fun fact about this game. It made me reclimb the tower.
Oh.
So I climbed the tower. We're on the final fight.
Ooh.
This fucking sucks. I'm so tired of this.
Ready to do it in one?
Yeah, this is it. And once we're done, then we can play Guilty Gear instead. I'm gonna beat this and then I'm gonna play Guilty Gear. That's my plan.
Alrighty, do it. Make it look easy.
Alright.
Ooh.
We got it. This is it. Nope. I gotta remember, parry is not stupid broken in this version. How was your day, Brantley?
Busy. Very busy.
Did you do any, I don't know if you should press it or release it. Did you do any social justice today? Did you tell a white person they should hate themselves?
Talking about me to me, yeah. But I did do a bunch of flyering for Grad Student Coalition, so I think that counts for something.
Maybe. Yes, it does.
The other week, actually, I helped table with Palestinian students, and had a couple times where I'd try to hand someone something, and I'd tell them, hey, help us stop the institution from funding genocide. They'd be like, oh, no thanks, which meant I got to clown at them by saying, well, you don't like genocide, do you? And so that counts, right? That was my chance to tell a white person. Look out for the beam. Push that button.
Take the beam. The beam is stupid. It takes too much time. That's fun.
But right now it's a lot of coalition stuff that I'm busy with.
I actually had there was a little thing about how I still can't carry that correctly. I was reading an article about how in the early 2000s or early 2013, 2014, right when Gamergate started happening and all this shit, and the whole like anti-SJW stuff started happening and blah blah blah. And it's really funny because apparently like the whole anti-SJW like thing. Oh, I did it.
Nice.
The whole he's gonna do this flip. I messed up. Actually, for how much for how much like right-wing shit it spawned. It also spawned a lot of left-wing politics because people started like getting really into the concepts of like reactionaries and like looking at it and being like, wow, this person sounds dumb, and then they would do research and be like, wow, this person kind of is dumb, but I agree with their point. What do I do to actually deal with this stuff? It was an interesting thing. It was neat.
Yeah, it was a case where sort of a line was drawn. You're either on one side or another, and so it suddenly, I think, started to become very easy in some ways to be like, well, I don't hate women, so I guess I'm finding myself in this sort of whole arrangement of points, that like, well, if a gamer gator would say this, then I suppose I don't really agree with that either. Logically, like this sounds like some more horse shit. Um, and so yeah, in that sense, like things that maybe would not have regularly sort of entered, like say like a video game player's standard conversation line. It politicized that. So
Yeah. Well, and it's also one of those things where it's like, boy, I hate how bad like games are, and then you would be like, damn it, I didn't want to do that. It's the women, and then you would look and you're like, oh no, it's not. It's capitalism. And then it just became a whole like the thing is people that went in expecting to be like, all these women are ruining games, and then it's just like, oh, after a couple minutes of reading, I realized it's not the women that are making games bad. It's capitalism.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it also does not help that the actual incident that kicked a lot of this off ended up being flagrantly false.
Right.
Though that didn't happen till later, I suppose that that confirmation came around. There were, and I guess in the moment as well, it's like there were issues being brought forward that simply weren't like could not simply just be put down to, oh, like it's here's my misogynistic reasoning and here's why it's correct. It really doesn't hold water when you start asking more questions. I recall let's see, Anita Sarkeesian was one of the big early targets, and people would complain about like, oh, she did this Kickstarter and took all this money, and it's like, okay, like she did her project, and like her getting money from people who donated is just people donating to it. It's not like she like stole it and ran with it, and so
And this
there
is
are
coming
those
from the guy that backed Mighty Number 9. I'm just saying, folks. If we want to talk about someone who got their money stolen.
yeah this comes from the gal who loves Mega Man a little too much, and never got that 3DS version.
That's so fucked. It's so fucked.
It would have been bad anyways. It didn't run well on anything.
Well, no, yeah, absolutely not. But it is also fucked that they teased the whole like, we're gonna do a TV show, and we're gonna do the TV show, and we're gonna do a 3D Legends-like game, and we're gonna, it's gonna be done. We have the models made, which I mean, like, isn't anything, right?
That was another like kind of, I think, eye-opener where it's like, oh, this stuff doesn't just get made, right? We have to sort of along with the developers, enter this sausage making sort of experience without, though, having the transparency of what the developers are actually working on.
We're doing it. I'm at 191. I gotta start over.
First time.
First time,
Um,
everybody.
last time didn't finish, so it's still
Doesn't
first
count.
time. But like, when it's like, okay, so they have all the money and the game didn't get made, why didn't the game get made? We start exploring, like, okay, well, was it just difficult to make? Well, it shouldn't be entirely, because this is,
Mega
you know,
Man. Like, people have made
yeah,
Mega Man before, and
right,
people
yeah,
have
but
made
then,
Mega Man on less budget. I don't know what is happening right now.
yeah, but then it's like, okay, so who is actually making the game? And you see, okay, well, there's Concept. Concept is not the people making it, but they seem to be the ones kind of doing the conceptualization and, like, maybe marketing or leadership or something. And you're becoming more exposed with each little investigation point on, like, what is actually going on here.
Parry for that. Yeah.
And it demands of you that you're it's like, since you have, like, for example, if I have a personal investment in this, and, like, at the time I still, like, want to believe that whatever this disaster is wasn't just, like, theft, you know, like, or a scam.
I think it was one
like,
part genuine, one part scam. I think there's a lot of moving parts, and I do think that at some point. Wait, didn't Yuji Naka go to prison?
Yuji Naka, yes, did go to prison for insider trading, but Yuji Naka is Sega.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Sorry, Yuji Naka made Ball and Wonder. Yes. Sorry. Who was the Mega Man guy?
That's Keiji Inafune.
Yes. Sorry. I remember in my mind they're kind of together, because, like, we're gonna make a spiritual successor to this game, and it was bad both times.
Yeah. Inafune is another one of these complicating parts with him is, like, the going through the really rough patch of the 360 era as a Japanese developer. You know, just sort of being in this, like, socio-technical nightmare where the Japanese consoles at the time were all underpowered or difficult to work with, and the 360 had no foothold in Japan. And it's like, God, how do we sell a game right now? Like, how do we make a game? We're starting on an entirely new generation of software with, you know, new expectations for what things should look like and how they should run. And then it's like, okay, if we want to try to make a game that sells right now, then apparently we can't do it at home. We have to hit the international market. And, you know, so, okay, what are people making? Cover shooters, you know, gritty action games, desaturated palettes, right? Like, and like that sort of, you know, sure, selling out, right? But, like, in reality, it's like, it is a survival technique. You know, and Inafune had comments on that. I mean, like, because, like, Dead Rising, for example, was a success despite all of that, right? Like, it was a, you know, they got it on 360, and they made a popular series out of it. But it required that they did something Western, right? Like, it's a heavily U.S. American style game that takes place in America with an American protagonist. Like, you know, it's a far cry away from, you know, what they would have been working on before. And it's certainly not Mega Man, right? Like, Mega Man is a very short, arcadey type of game that, you know, is in many cases not really worth the. You know, it didn't have room in a environment that was expecting $60, you know, high-powered games, you know. like without relegating something like Mega Man to say like 3DS and whatnot. Indeed, folks, we are at this point of the stream already. Gotta talk about something while we're.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not. The problem is we've run into the problem where we know what to do. As anyone pointed out. Sorry.
Yeah, Grant is very much not happy with this boss rush.
It's here's the thing. The parry the problem is that the so like right here the parry is here. Why is it there? There's no real like animation to show it.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. They're dunking on. I'm sorry.
So it's not the spin, and it's not necessarily the little wave. And then when you come back to him, he will slap you. And since the camera...
Because he's still running up the next animation while the camera won't turn around.
Yeah. You know what? You did make it to the start of the stream, and we're talking about fucking, how, we started talking about how Gamergate was mostly fucking fake. Like, it was fucking fake. And
you're gonna talk about how it ended up radicalizing a bunch of leftists as well as, like, a right.
Yeah, I remember there was this weird thing when Reddit looked at like the people that before I gotta start over. You cannot get hit. It was talking. There was this weird overlap I saw on Reddit, where it was when Tumblr in Action was first, which was originally made to kind of make fun of like cringy teenagers, right? And then it kind of took a right-wing nosedive. But it's interesting because if you look at the Tumblr in Action, the biggest overlaps it had were like communism subreddits, and then the other half were alt-right subreddits. And it's how like the anti-SJW and like anti-reactionary sections kind of ran this similar circle for a little bit, and how they helped people get radicalized, because as they would, as you would make fun of cringy teenagers as a teenager, even though you were cringy and making fun of cringe is stupid, but that's teenage. But you would start to read into these things and realize that there's way more problems with the system than it being just cringy teenagers. But anyway, and we talked about Kickstarters, and then I said how someone said that Arnita Secret Search, he's,
Anita Sarkeesian.
There you go.
Her Kickstarter project, like, ultimately ended up, like, I'm pretty sure she ended up doing everything.
Yeah.
People didn't like her.
It was not a
so,
scam.
like, yeah, it's like, you might not, like her content, but she did finish it.
She did what she said she was going to do.
Yeah, and then that's like, okay, so, and you start noticing where, like, the Gamergate type of, like, rhetoric isn't really that factual, and it would cause this breakout of, like, wait, why, now I need to speculate all these things that are being said, and I'm curious why they're even being said in the first place. But then that led on to Mighty Number 9, and then Keiji Inafune, and then Yuji Naka was there for a moment.
Yuji Naka was there because
Yuji Naka was not actually here, though. He was in jail.
For insider trading.
Yeah, and now I have this quote to present. So there's your flashback for the entire stream so far. And one of the reasons why sort of Inafune has been kind of interesting for me. Like, granted, I did not know that I didn't have this quote on hand back when the whole Mighty Number 9 thing happened, but back in 2009 at Tokyo Game Show, he's quoted as saying, personally, when I look around at all the different games at the TGS floor, I said, man, Japan is over. We're done. Our game industry is finished. So here's someone who, was on to the sequel of a game that was succeeding on the 360, Yeah, indeed, Scott. That said, you mean reactionaries were too quick to jump on a bandwagon?
Well, and it was also
Um,
the thing about it was that like you would have people on this thing making fun of like rich liberal elites, right? Because it's just it's just a bunch of white people like talking about like things, right? And they'd be like, "Wow, they were like these wealthy kids like talking about things," and then you're like, "Wait, I do want to make fun of the rich liberal elites, but I don't want to be a right wing shill." And then you're like, "Oh, there's a left wing version of this too." That was another thing that kind of came out of this. But yes. Anyway, continue talking about Kiji Inafune.
um, really, it's cousin, and then God just became a thing.
That's
Yeah,
true.
then we did get into games as a service and live service models and everything, and microtransactions and all that. But yeah, there was always something like as the as the Mighty Number Nine projects and things were going on. Um, I always did have a sense that it wasn't just scamming, right?
Yeah, there's
Uh, and I think that this article sort of, um, this quote in particular kind of points out that I don't know that it's the vibe that makes sense, right? Where for some reason, this whole like kind of disaster that had struck, there was something that didn't feel fake, yeah, about it. You know, that I was like, I still want to sympathize with the guy. I can't put my finger on it, but I think there's something there. And this is basically it. This also comes after Mega Man Legends 3 on the 3DS got canceled outright. You know, like we were in a time where Mega Man was like past, you know, Mega Man Star Force, which didn't make it past its third game. That was kind of weird for Mega Man games. Normally, Mega Man, Mega Man X, and Mega Man Battle Network all made it to 6 games, and Star Force did not. Star Force made it to number 3, and then that was it. And so to finally get like, oh, they're reviving Legends, that's a pretty big deal. Um, for that to get canned, um, really was pretty devastating. And therefore, Mighty Number Nine ended up being very exciting. To see, hey, here's the guy he's breaking away. Um, Even when it was a mess, like there was something about it that just didn't feel like he wasn't, you know, it wasn't them giving up or like just kind of half-assing it. It really felt like a damn struggle. Um, I remember when we'd moved on to the Red Ash stuff, that they had a little video of him going around the office and like looking at his team's work and basically giving them guidance, like directing or producing, you know. And as he's doing this, like you know, and looking at him, kind of, yeah. Red Ash was the project that was following after Mighty Number Nine. It was meant to be a Mega Man Legends spiritual successor, where Mighty Number Nine was a Mega Man successor. People were very upset that Red Ash was put to kickstarting and you know projects and stuff after Mighty Number Nine still had not even finished all of its deliverables. The most iconic one being the 3DS port that never was. Um, and so it's like, hey, finish the first thing before you do the second thing. For business reasons, of course, they're gonna. Their cat is not a Republican. Someone else is and they had a bumper sticker for it. But you know, essentially, it makes sense that you start your next project before you finish your first one, because otherwise you have downtime where you're paying developers to sit. Um, and so, like, you know, as you shift gears and, like, you know, one version of the game is gold and the next one is being worked on, that was very ugly for us as consumers to see, right? We're like, why, you know, that seems wrong to us. You know, it seems like they're being way too greedy. But that's because normally we're so used to studios not being transparent about that. It was an opportunity to sort of to see past the kind of usual corporate methodology of like, well, we have, you know, enough people hired up that we have multiple projects going at the same time on different teams, and so, you know, one team can kind of just entirely concentrate on this while the other team does that. They didn't really have that same luxury seemingly with concept, and I think that oh, what's the company that worked on the Mega Man Zero games? Capcom, because they worked on Mighty Number 9, and I assume they did a pretty heavy lift on some of the development. But oh, let me just go ahead and look up what that company's name is. They're still around. They still make games. They're also famous for the Gunvolt series.
The hell, the missiles.
Inti Creates. That's right. That was another thing, was figuring out, okay, who's actually making Mighty Number 9? Is it Inti Creates, who are known for making these kinds of games very well, or is it Concept, or is Concept just kind of the branding and concept company behind this?
Scott's running gags every time I start. He said, "I'm so glad I made it to the beginning of the stream." Looking good. Looking good. And I'm gonna get roasted all night here.
And it really seemed that like seeing the inside developer like thing with Inafune, where he's, you know, talking with the staff and just kind of looking around and realizing, wow, all these people look so young. You know, like it kind of occurred to me that they don't actually have that, like, no, almost like they couldn't be picky, right? That, like, despite all the funding they got, despite having, you know, a famous director on board, they didn't really have a veteran team, right? And so, hey, we take shared bits here. But yeah, it's so, like, you know, seeing, like, Enoch in that director position, talking with the developer, and, like, you know, he knows what he's talking about. But it's like, wow, they're working with so little, right? Kind of exposed to me sort of, like, things that normally companies just try to not talk about, because it is kind of unpleasant to think of. Indeed, Froyo, pretty darn great if you're, you know, up this alley of this kind of sonic butt rock. Let's see, another one that it happened, I think, shortly after the whole Mighty Number 9 thing, after that had gone through, and maybe I think at the same time around Red Ash, maybe after it. That was when, say, like, Skullgirls and Indivisible were taking to the Indiegogo model. When the Indiegogo went up for Indivisible, which is, you know, the Skullgirls team moving on to make an action RPG types, they asked for what seemed like a lot of money up front. Let's see, it was over $1 million. Let me see if I can find the actual Indiegogo page for it. They ended up making over that much, in stretch goals, but they had sort of this very open mention of, like, hey, this is why we have the price point here. Yeah, I think their original request was like $1.5 million or $1.8 million. Let's see. I'm having a hard time getting back to the original. Ask. I see they made $2 million in the run across 32,000 backers. And they had a breakdown. It basically, it's like, why do we need this much money? Yeah, I think it was $1.5 million. And then the short version is that the amount of money they were asking for was about equivalent to like what it would have cost to make Super Metroid back in its time. There's more of these examples of like, okay, like, you know, what is it actually like to make games? You know, let's break down how much it actually costs to do some of this stuff. This is also the time when YouTube channels on like Did You Know Gaming, for example.
Did you know?
Yeah, that you know became very popular. And so like I recall seeing videos on like
Hold on a second. I gotta get my cats some. Oh, they don't. It's not ready for them to eat. They're being so needy right now.
the videos on Factor 5 games and their various sort of like attempted superhero games, you know, and like repeated canned projects. That I think also helped to sort of, for the average person, elucidate like what's going on and why is it so hard seemingly for people to make games. Like after we'd kind of gone through our lives playing games and mostly just kind of enjoying them as kids, you know, having to sort of reckon with like why is it that now games seem bad, also came with learning, right?
Yes. The real
Okay,
answer
here's a-
that video games are bad is because they won't ask me how to make a video game. And Uncle Grant, what do we need in a video game? I need 6 things.
Earlier you described that you mentioned that there was kind of the Reddit response to Gamergate had sort of a communist splinter and a right-wing fascist splinter.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is that Gamergate was the Disco Elysium divorce of the real world
Well,
gamer.
it's actually interesting. There's an episode of Behind the Bastards on this whole topic and how like Gamergate fundamentally changed politics in America.
Yeah. I know a professor who studies at QAnon pretty closely.
Yeah, and
Gamergate has been a pretty significant, you know, vector of that.
Has he written anything?
Oh yeah.
Then I'm sure.
Not things that you've read because it's like research.
Well, I know, but like Robert Evans always reads that kind of stuff, so he might have quoted your professor.
I don't know. His name is Jake Burdick. Stephen Jake Burdick. So. Oh, Willem did point out this is the
highest amount of rooms.
Highest amount of rooms you've gone in with. So congrats on that.
Okay. This boss is the one that fucks me up. So like, theoretically, this boss should be easy clear. It's just that if you miss this cycle, this right here, like right there, you start over, and you have to do this whole animation of flying by him before he starts shooting missiles at you again. And the problem is that it's the same move he did previously with different timing.
Yeah. Really, I think we can fix American politics if we just all devote ourselves to Dolores Day. I think that's probably what it would take.
Wasn't that what the fascists believed?
Let's see. Do you within Disco Elysium?
Yeah.
I didn't never watch the fascist Vision Quest. But I know that.
Or is Dolores Day Girl Child Revolution? Essentially.
No, well.
Because I know Girl Child
don't think
Revolution's
so.
not a
That's
real
the one.
person, and it's more of an idea. But
No. I was thinking more of like Kim's moralist devotion to.
oh, that's right. That's right. Here's the morals. Yeah. Sorry. I'm approaching a solution. I'm slowly approaching a solution that will please nobody.
Yeah.
See, at this point, I just need to get that timing down, because I think if I get that timing down, I can win this fight.
Yeah, this one is rough because your ability to attack the boss depends on hitting those parries, you know, so smoothly. And like in between those, you don't get, you know, fast opportunities to attack. You just have long waiting periods and like, hey, throw something at me that I can parry for the phase.
Yeah. And just as you're doing that, you're timing it. Shut the fuck up. God, I've learned plenty of timing. Good at guilty. Fuck! God damn it! God damn it! It's just not telegraphed. Yeah, I was really good at Hi-Fi Rush. But Hi-Fi Rush had a lot of audio telegraphs, and
it also had a steady beat that was not, as far as I know, vulnerable to frame rate.
It's a trick.
I'm the devil on your shoulder reminding me that you can always switch to easy mode.
No. I need to beat this. I need to beat this at this mode so that I can say, when people start talking about the bullshit of this on the internet, which I'm sure they already have, and I've missed it completely. I've missed the discourse around this DLC so much. Yeah, exactly. Willem's got it.
When I looked at the strategies for this boss, basically what I read was that this part, Wyvern, is like the make or break. It's like this is the problem, right? Like either you do well on this and you have a chance, or this ruins your entire run.
You can chain his hands together, and the problem is if you chain his hands together, where's Sonic? Over here. Where was that attack coming from? How could you see that attack? I'm not versed in the 3D. I'm also not versed by games not having really good prompts for timing.
What was I think I've probably asked this before, but it's worth asking again. What was the first game that made you realize that games can be bad?
I played a Rock'em Sock'em. Do you remember when Rock'em Sock'em Robots had the update? And they had like the dinosaur, and you could customize the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I would vomit. So I rented that game. We probably talked about this on stream before, but it's a funny story. I rented that game when I was probably like 6 years old from the local familial video, and when I was there, and I remember playing it, and like I didn't really know what fighting games. That's not true. I knew what fighting games were because I played Evil Zone for the PlayStation, which is wild because that game has so much Japanese tropes that I just did not understand as a kid. And they also said "Go to hell," and I got in trouble for from repeating that line. But anyway, I liked Evil Zone as a kid. I was playing this Rock'em Sock'em Robots game in my bedroom because I had a little TV where I hooked up my PlayStation 2 or GameCube, or it was a GameCube, or PlayStation. And I was playing it, and I remember going, I'm not having fun. And then I cried to my dad. I said, I don't like this game. It's not fun. And then I learned that there was a story mode, and I enjoyed that a little bit more than the arcade. because you got to actually customize your dude, and I thought it was fun. But I do remember like legitimately crying because I thought this game sucks. I also bought this Dragon Tamer game that I had no idea how to play because it was this pretty intense like pet sim game that I think was made for it was like made for like teenagers, right? And I just did not understand it. Was it Monster Rancher? Probably. No, it had dragon in the name. I think it had dragon in the name because I remember no, because it had dragon in the name because I remember I remember when I was playing it one day I tried to get it, and it was the family video accidentally. Oh, do I live? Oh god, I lived. Family video accidentally put Dragon Tales in it, and that also made me cry because I was too old for Dragon Tales.
You don't want to go to Dragonland?
Yeah, I was like, wow, I don't want to play this game. I wanted to play that really cool dragon game that I had no idea how to play.
I think you subconsciously wished and wished with all your heart to get Dragon Tales. What's even better is that if it's the Dragon Tales game that I'm thinking of, it's like the most bare bones things ever, where you like walk around a level and play hide and seek.
Maybe.
And there's almost nothing to do aside from walk and find. But yeah, I had the Rock'em Sock'em Robots on Game Boy Advance, and that was extremely sparse. Like basically, almost every character functioned exactly the same. Some of them had slightly different like super moves you could activate, and then
don't you love how good this is and how easy it is to dodge those things? Don't worry, guys. I have 2 seconds.
I think you can do it. Clutch it out.
Bye. Wait, the
second.
Chamber of Secrets video game, was that the one on the GameCube? Or and like the PlayStation 2? With like a lot of the stealth mechanics? Okay, what's wild is I actually liked that game, but I did not like the first, like, I liked when you were hanging out with Ron. I thought that was fun. But then the rest of the game was ass because of how much stealth they wanted you to do. And like realistically, that is the most realistic thing about that game is that, oh god. I mean, like a lot of Harry Potter like original books was just the kids sneaking around. I will say the Prisoner of Azkaban game was pretty cool because you'd play as Ron, Hermione, and Harry, and it was like a 3-person, like you can. Yeah, but Peeves
Each character has like a character ability or whatever.
Yeah, and so like you would have to like switch the characters to solve puzzles, and I thought that was really cool. And you could like freely roam around Hogwarts. And this was, you know, early J.K. Rowling, who probably at the time wasn't as shitty as she was, but she didn't really know it. I love that game. I played that game a lot. And when I beat it, I was actually really sad. Because the problem is that it was the third book in a series, so you kind of expected it to go off with a bang, and it kind of goes off with a. Oof. Yeah, the games had like a lot of the cut content from the movies that they put that were in the book.
Yeah, it was like you're taking what it's like the movie's out, but you can't just make a game that's an hour and a half of content. I never played the Polar Express game, but I've watched plenty of people play it, and it's funny seeing what they put together to try to make that last a long time.
Yeah, I remember there's to get like your first major like spell in Prisoner of Azkaban. They're like, you are going to go to Hogwarts' hidden lava dungeon. And you just go into this lava dungeon.
Yeah, I can say that even like as a late teenager, beating Kingdom Hearts 1 had me kind of moisty-eyed.
Pussy. Just kidding. I had the same feeling with I played Kingdom Hearts 2 before I played Kingdom Hearts 1. But I didn't have a PlayStation 2 until I was 11. I remember it was funny because when no, I was 12. When did Kingdom Hearts 2 come out? I think
4, 5, 6, something like that. 5 maybe? I'm guessing someone will have posted it in chat by the time I find it here. 2005, I was right.
Okay, so I was 10 when it came out. So I got it.
No, it's gotta be before it though.
But yeah, I played Kingdom Hearts 2 because I was 10, and I remember because I think Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2001, and I thought, wow, when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, it will be 2014, and I will be graduating high school, and I'm like, no wait, no, I will be starting high school when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. I'm like, do I even know if I'll like Kingdom Hearts when I'm in high school? And then it came out after I graduated college. Which was funny.
Yeah.
I know. My cat is being very lovey right now. I hate that timing. It's not when his fist closed.
Well, I'm sad if I crush you like that, it'll happen when you guys have your hero redemption, huh?
I think what Scott said is 260 is a good ring count for this.
I think there was always, as much as I hated as a kid when a game would drop you on the end screen and just require you to power it off, instead of going back to the title. I think Willem last time maybe was the one who was giving ring estimations, and then I had some from the guide I was looking at as well, but yeah, just being on a title screen, not a title screen, an end screen, and being just forced to shut the game off yourself was always kind of emotional for me. Especially depending on the game. Like for Kingdom Hearts, obviously, because it ends on the theme, tinkling slightly. Willem said you're averaging 270-ish. Highest so far was 293.
I just gotta not fuck this up. This guy sucks ass. This boss fight is designed like shit.
Another one of those was Yoshi's Island. Not Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Story. Yoshi's Story on the N64 also just ends on a hard turn the game off screen, which it always has this feeling of like, oh, I have to kill the game, like
Yeah.
I have to power it off.
The really bad feeling is when you do it and then you think this might be the last time I play this video.
Yeah.
Like at one point I turned off Pokemon Sapphire and then never opened it again. To be fair, it's because my dog chewed it up. So I just remember that as I was saying it, I'm like, man, that must have been tragic. And then I thought to myself, oh, I couldn't. I did not choose to kill Pokemon Sapphire. But yeah, that's the shit, It's like what was another game that made me an emotional wreck when I beat it as a child? Sonic Adventure 2 got me. I remember when I learned that the game had an ending, I was like, what? I really thought I liked Gen 3, and then I replayed them, and I realized I don't really like Gen 3 in terms of, like, gameplay-wise. It was definitely my, like, childhood favorite, but I don't have the nostalgia for it as much anymore. You turned off your Pokemon game one.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I lost Pokemon Fire Red for a while. I was so bummed. And I was really trying not to make it into a catastrophe, you know. But Mom Kata was bummed about it. She went and found me another used copy. Eventually I did find my own copy again, but in that window of time, that was a very weird kind of emotional experience. Where it's like, on one hand, I was like, wow, my mom's really watching out for me, and like, I'm pretty lucky to have her.
That missile come from?
And also now I have someone else's Fire Red that was important to them at one point, and I wonder what it was like for them to give it up. And and so like, I think part of it had sort of a weird calming effect, where I was like, you know, my mom doesn't really understand that, you know, it would be so hard to explain to her, and I would never do like this thing where I'd be like, well, Mom, it's not really this doesn't have my Pokemon in it, so, you know, this is someone else's game, you know, and it's different than just kind of getting a replacement game, you know, and, like, it doesn't have my beloved creatures on it, doesn't have my pets, it has somebody else's pets, but, you know, I was like, you know, I have to be grown up about this, you know, I have to appreciate what Mom's done for me here, and accept this other person's game, you know, that you know, they had sold to, like, a GameStop or whatever. This is very, like, very weird game, and an important one, I think. Yeah, well, I've had all the encounters memorized where they were at.
I've been missing the hard cards and missing the
Yeah, stop. Those batteries are running out. Very true.
But you can replace the batteries. The save is still there. Fuck! God! So sometimes the missiles stop hitting you. And then other times they can keep hitting you. It is very fucking annoying. I'm sick of this fight.
And Froyo has Dark Souls 3 memorized. Yeah. That's definitely one of those that is good. Afford that play style and that, you know, repetition. Especially if you're meaningfully sort of assessing, like, okay, how do I approach this combat situation on multiple different player characters and things like that.
Hit me up, Scar. Hit it for me. Thanks, Scott. Now back to your previous conversation we're having.
He really wants Wolm to do the red/blue ROM hack, where you control what the trainers that you fight do. Here's a random fun fact before we get back to the standard conversation. I noticed that Skullgirls updated a while back on February 6th. I only saw the update now. They used to have a quote-unquote Soviet voice pack, where one of the game's creators, Mike Zymon, was doing a fake Russian accent as a battle narrator, and since, of course, he turned out to be a real piece of work, speaking euphemistically, and they went and decided to do Skullgirls without him after he tried to kick them all out. His voice got removed from the game. Now they have a new one in replacing it. It is the voice of the TF2 Heavy,
Oh
Gary
yeah,
Schwartz.
that's just so much better.
Yeah.
Like, even if he wasn't a piece of shit, that's just better.
Yeah. They also added let's see, new palettes. They have a very good one for it's Anya Forger from Spy Family. So it's like mostly for Umbrella.
Oh.
So it's like mostly a black outfit with the gold accents. And it looks very good. Eventually.
Not the best, but pretty good.
Eventually, the reason we get finished, and then we'll be able to, that'll be a bit more long from now. I know Marie's playable right now in the beta, but I want to make sure she's all finished before we sleep.
This reminds me when I'm running and I'm trying to get a specific amount of miles in for my hour, and it's like, oh, if I'm only just like a second, fucking hell. If I'm just a second faster on this mile, then that means I can cruise it on this part. And I get really into those microseconds. Just like I'm getting into like 4 or 5 rings. Like, this is one of my better ones. I have like 290 rings left. And I'm still like, man, if only I had like 5 more rings. I just wish it would send you straight to the next boss. I think it's stupid that they're like, hey, you have to do all this. Like, this is not a boss rush. It is a boss, like, slog. Because a boss rush, like, think of Mega Man X, right? It's like, all right, you defeated the boss. Go into the door and fight the other bosses.
Yeah. Here's something we can talk about. Grant, did you ever see anything about the game Rain Code?
It sounds so familiar.
That's a game made by Spike Chunsoft. It's a Danganronpa type game. Sorry, Danganronpa. Let me double check if Kodaka was actually on it. But I've been looking at that. I remember when it was first getting shown off. It's like very clearly
it's new, right?
the Danganronpa art style.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's from last year. Yeah, June of last year is when it came out.
That's new.
Yeah, I know. But just to clarify that it's not like, oh, it just literally, like came out this month or something.
Can I tell a quick iteration before we move off? Pokemon manga, and into the fucking darkness that is Spike Chunsoft. Today, during class, one of my kids brought in a Pokemon magazine, and one of the articles is about censorship and like the American Pokemon manga, and it says like Pokesex, and he just goes, I don't think I should be reading this, and he like shows it to me. I'm like, yeah, it's not like it's like not terrible, right? It's like clearly something like a 12-year-old could read, and it just like talks about, it's like, yeah, there were some shots of the characters that weren't like in the manga. Green puts like Pokeballs in her dress to make her look like she has big boobs, and then she rips the dress open and releases Pokemon, but like she's wearing more clothes under it, so it's like oh, big boob gag, right? Not but like it's these like he just kept like asking people about it. He would like go up and be like, I don't think I should be reading this, and we're like, dude, you're fine. Um,
Hey, you
but
be a priest for me?
anyway, so Spike Chunsoft, Danganronpa Rain game.
Yeah, so originally this, I remember seeing this and I was like, oh wow, that's clearly the Danganronpa artist, right? It's like you can just tell. And I figured it was like, okay, they've done Danganronpa, they're probably going their separate ways. I was wrong. That's like basically the entire, I don't know if it's the entire team, but at least like some of the most significant, like well-known surface members of the team have worked on it. So it's Kazutaka Kodaka, who's like the writer and kind of head of Danganronpa, character designer, as I mentioned, the composer Masafumi Takada, who's a legend. There are many other games besides Danganronpa, but originally seeing it, I just kind of figured like, oh, okay, they're finally doing something different. We'll see how it goes. Because they had also, I remember seeing some time back, they had this other game that was like, or not, it was supposed to be a game, but I think it ended up just being an animated short series or something like that. But it had the character designer on. Everyone got excited, like, whoa, it's the Danganronpa guy, and I guess not entirely. And so I thought it was another one of those cases. But no, I'm in this weird situation now where I'm watching through this, and it is... You know how sometimes people joke about with game designs, it's like, copy someone's work but don't make it obvious, and then they make it obvious, so they, kind of rip something or crib something from another game. This is like that. They did that to themselves. It's so odd. It's like, oh wow, that's nonstop debate, except instead of being in a courtroom and pointing your camera around and seeing people shoot words at you, instead you're in a circular arena and they shoot the words at you and you can dodge around them. And then one of those statements will be highlighted differently, and you have to attack it with a certain piece of evidence. And this time, it's not bullets; it's a sword. It's like it's just Danganronpa, but it's not in the same setting. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, James Marsden could beat this because that is how he got the part of Sonic's dad in movies.
I would assume he would get that part because he wouldn't be very good at it. Like, yeah, you have dad material.
I asked my dad
to
beat video games for me as a kid. I remember that was one of the other growing moments of my life when I got better at video games than my dad. Because like he wasn't like a gamer, but he was just older than me. So like he could.
Sometimes as an adult, you know what the game is trying to do, you know, or like you have the patience to just sort of not brute force it and try something different for once.
Yeah. But yes, as you were saying.
But the game's weird. You know what's funny is that they, from what I've seen so far, they kind of slimmed down the different trial minigames that they have. The format is slightly different. Instead of having like a trial where it's a bunch of characters all getting around and trying to... By the way, there's not going to be any Danganronpa spoilers in this. No one Willem says you're at your highest.
I'm actually doing pretty good. I just need to beat.
Yeah, I'm going to keep talking to keep that same pace. So, instead of having like the trial format where you have all the characters get around and you discuss together what's going on, it's just a Persona 5 dungeon concept where it's like, oh, someone is opposing you on this mystery, and we're going to put you in a fantastical labyrinth with them, and now they're in like a unique get-up, and they're going to try to torment you and throw you off. And also you have like a magic sword now, and you're in fantasy allegory world. It's kind of dumb and goofy. Again, in a copy my work, but make sure it doesn't look obvious kind of way. And what's funny to me, which is especially funny to me, is that when they sort of had to go, okay, we're gonna do this a little differently. Instead of having this trial format back to back to back, where you're just it's kind of all in one rush. Instead, they break it up more into pieces, where it's like, okay, you're gonna do one of these little mini games, and you're gonna walk around for a while in a 3D environment, and then after you're done walking for a while, you're gonna do another mini game. And so it's paced differently that way. When then they've decided, like, okay, which ones of these mini games do we want to bring back? Because we're not going to just reinvent any. They're almost all just reused, and modified. But you want to take a guess at one of the ones they brought back?
Taxi cab slaughter.
No, they brought back Logic Dive, sort of.
Where you're on the skateboard?
Being in yeah, but you're not in a circular cool tunnel. You're just picking between 3 options on a minecart.
That's worse.
Which is less cool. Yeah, I know. But oh, it also has the arbitrary, like, doing literally anything gives you experience points and makes you level up for your, like, magic skill points. That let you do perks and whatever. That is also part of this. But one of the it's like, okay, we're only going to pick some of the mini games to reuse. Which ones are we going to pick? Of course, they picked fucking Hangman's Gambit. The fucking worst one.
Because he's got to be in your line of sight.
You got this. Nice. But yeah, they in the process of streamlining down which mini games are good to keep. Of course, they picked the one I hate the most. But I'm not gonna play this game. I'm going to only watch it because I'm really not that interested in it. It's not hard to play. But wow, it's some goof shit that they decided to pull. I don't know anybody who really likes. And yet.
Oh my god, this fucking sucks. I'm gonna lose to this motherfucker because of some RNG bullshit without. Like, why? Because you can't hit him unless you hit him with the shield. But, like... Oh my god, this fucking sucks.
Got him.
Trying to get Phantom Rush so I can use the fucking mad damage with this. Oh, fuck, and that knocks your Phantom Rush out, and then the shield spawns again.
Is there any way that you can parry that one?
You can't. It's just... it's so fucking annoying. Because it's like, you need to read where he's going. Oh!
Damn.
Wait.
Hmm?
No!
Ah.
Damn it! Fuck!
You got it this time.
Oh. Thanks, Scott.
Zach asked, is it future? Oh, I recently finished watching a playthrough of.
Hey, remember how I
Flowers
said if I
and
had
Rain.
3 more rings, if I had those 3 rings that I was talking about, I would have.
Yeah. Willem said, feels like an infinite time loop, huh? And Scott said, infinite isn't infinite. Yeah, they whooped Infinite's ass, and now he hasn't come back from it. I mean, granted, there's only been one game between this one and last one, but... Zach asked, was the dragon game Dragon Seeds?
Yes, that was it.
Ugh. Nice find. I want to look at this.
Which means that some poor kid who went to get Dragon Tails when I got Dragon Seed, just some fucking weird ass. Hey, Brantley, have you ever seen Hulk?
Hulk?
Yeah, Clamp Show.
You mean XXX Hulk?
Yeah,
Yeah. I've seen one episode of it.
we watched it in our conflict once.
Why?
My principal loves Clamp, and
Okay.
so she was like, "We need to watch." We watch anime, and we watched Cardcaptor Sakura, and
I was gonna say, why not Card Captor first, if not? But yeah.
we did, and like everyone in like the cosplay are at least 12, right? Like they're older kids. And so we watched Cardcaptor Sakura, and we watched Tsubasa, which is the other Clamp show, which I didn't know that they are like all connected, like loosely.
Yeah. Yeah, that even has Kakyoin's egg. Not kidding. But yeah. I'm glad to hear that you work with a clamp head.
Oh, she loves Clamp, and it's so funny because all the kids were like, "Why are they so tall and lanky?"
Yeah.
And
They're all
we're just
lanky.
like, "That's Clamp, baby."
Next time, ask her what she thinks about Tokyo Babylon.
Okay.
They were supposed to do a remake of that, and then that did not happen.
And then Brantley was like, "What the heck?" See, Knight is a good
No,
boss
no, no.
fight because Knight, you just go straight to fighting him. all right. I need an empty bladder for this. I'm gonna pause. I have 304 rings. This is it, baby. This is it. I need to piss though. I need to piss, and I gotta feed my cats.
Go piss, girl.
Why are you under my foot? You know what time it is. I know.
Here's since Grant has stepped away, probably means it's time for um little politics talk. Just recently on the topic of Japan, uh there was a court ruling that a trans man could change his gender marker without surgery. Which is great. Let me go ahead and see if I can get a direct link to that article. Here we go. Yeah, so of course, as a court ruling, I imagine this is not like a law being legislated in. Rather, it's a precedent that other courts can now refer to for future situations like this. Still exciting. Um, Hi.
Girl boss happened. What the fuck? What are we talking about? What?
Just recently, Japan had there was a Japanese court ruling that trans man Takahito Usui could change his gender marker without first having gender affirming surgery.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, this I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now it's Shulk time.
Now it's Shulk time. Shulk.
It's so funny being exposed to Shulk entirely through Smash Bros. And then trying to look up Xenoblade and realizing that it's just a normal, like, serious JRPG. It's just, like, I just always kind of figured, oh, like, he's goofy, right? Like, he's kind of silly. But everything I've seen in the game is just very dramatic. As is a very funny contrast.
As compared to Xenoblade 2, where everything's just kind of a little too goofy sometimes. And your main character is Rex, and that's a problem.
But it's okay. In the third one, he got big.
Yeah, his design is much better, but I
He's
have
an entirely different character.
I have troubles accepting that Mia would fuck him. I'm gonna be honest.
It's okay. The baby doesn't look anything like him.
I don't. I think the polycule is Myra and Pithra. That was totally an accident. I think Nia just had a baby.
Yeah. Immaculate conception.
No, it was a lesbian. It was a lesbian baby.
That can be immaculate.
That's true. Through the power of lesbian love, he had a child. No, I will say, Rex's design in Xenoblade 3 is like, I know it's a different character, but it is a good design. I think it looks great. I think more JRPG men need beards. That's what I think I've decided. I know that facial hair is not super like common in Japan, but looks good.
Even Rex's really bad-looking sword looks better when he's a big beefcake.
Hey, that's Pyra you're talking about. Bad looking sword, my ass.
Is it the big triangle one?
Yeah, that's Pyra.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry,
you can talk.
Sorry, Pyra, you look like shit.
Pyra's design is also not great.
Oh, speaking of JRPG characters with beards, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth came out recently.
It did.
I've been hearing good things about that as well. Much like the first one. I guess it's hard to say first in its series because it's still Yakuza, but it's the divergence point where they've gone to the RPG base.
I haven't played the first one. I feel like I'd like it.
You mean like a like Yakuza 7? In other words?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very good from everything I've seen.
I really
lots of current events topics too that I think are handled very well in ways that we appreciate.
I really hope that at some point this summer I can have like gamer summer where I can just like for like a couple, like not even like the full thing, just like there's Sonic. Like we just like damn it. I missed that. It's gonna send me back a little bit. But just like a week where I just don't do anything but play video games. Like I wake up, make food, take care of my business I need to take care of, like adult shit.
Asen almost becomes that sometimes, though it's us playing whatever games are there, not.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like
the backlog, right? Like playing stuff that...
Fuck, god damn it.
Yeah. The best part is that we both have games on our backlog that could probably take the entire time all on our, you know, like just that entire week would just be devoted to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't wait to take a whole week off in order to get through maybe 2 or 3 chapters of Umineko. Which I've been not getting into, specifically because I'm worried how much time I would spend on it. And like I have too much right now to work on. So I'm not touching it yet. Though since I've gotten through watching Fire, Sun, and Rain, I think I get to move on to Killer 7 now.
Oh, stop. Do you believe?
I believe you can.
It's really stupid because sometimes you can do the side loop thing that locks you in place. Yeah, and that allows you to do some good shit. I hate that tail swipe move. It's just his visual clutter is just so bad.
Yeah, we're gonna have to think about what we're gonna play next after this. Which is not to say I don't have any ideas, but...
Let's take a time. Damn. I hate that fight. I don't know. We can play a game.
Watch me play my cool game. We got lots of things on the backlog.
And now that you have a better computer, we can give you some shit. You know what? I think what we need to do is we need to have you go through the Call of Duty campaigns.
Ugh, kill me.
Just like
die.
Just like play them and like talk about how bad they are and.
No, thank you.
I bet we can get a lot of good memes from that. I bet the people that are watching people play Call of Duty campaigns are...
It would be mostly boring. Because I would mostly not be into it, and I also probably wouldn't feel comfortable making outright political statements constantly on what may or may not be for bias outside of, wow, this is very patriot gung-ho, or jingoistic. And so I'd be probably just doing a lot of running forward and playing rather regularly and not being able to commentate on it. Let's see. I remember there's Maiden and Spell. That's that versus Magical Girl thing that we should try sometime. I don't know if that'll take a full stream on its own, but fun to do. Let's see. There's Temmie's games.
Are they out? Or are they full games? Because I know...
They're like little... I think each is like half hour long or so. Yeah, I think she has a couple of them that she's released. I think they're mostly like visual novel-esque or walking sim-esque, kind of walk around the characters. If that's something you want to do in stream.
Look, I know you hate video games. I just want to read books.
No. Let's see.
I always Phantom Rush because of this.
If you
Phantom Rush does big dick damage.
If you're itching to get into something like card-based or strategy-based, there's a couple of those that are pretty cool. One that's a little older by now, Signs of the Surgeon. There's another one recently, that's Revolution. Wait, what's the name?
Yeah, but card games that aren't Inscription are not normally fun to watch.
Yeah, fair. But I mean, like, it was very fun, I thought, to go through, like, say, for example, Heroes Contract, and that was very much like a strategy.
That's true,
Like,
but it was...
visual impact, mostly about, you know, but then again, yeah, the theming is kind of strong on that.
I fucking hate the timing, because it's not when he closes his hands, and it's...
We could do World's End Club.
Yeah, but I heard that game sucked.
But it might be funny. No, but then I have to buy it. I forgot I didn't buy it.
Is it on Steam?
It is, yeah. I'm pretty confident it is. Let me double check though. Yes, it is.
I think we need to play a popular game.
I'm gonna kill you. We're literally playing a popular game right now.
Yeah, but it's
Froyo, you have to be careful with us. We're very careful about not playing
popular games.
Oh, you shut down. Very careful to not play like games that we wouldn't be able to finish. So like, yeah, like Grant will with the Bear Clan play stuff that's more like live service style, you know, like do runs and you know kind of mission based stuff like that or simulator type things. But we tend to stay away from them for this channel. We try to find things that have like a discrete endpoint for the most part, with Guilty Gear being the one exception because that's also kind of worked for Grant. Let's see. We still have to do the Balan Wonderworld 100%.
Yeah, but that you're gonna come over for that one. We're going to sit on a couch and we're going to what?
We have to do that co-op.
Yep. Yeah, because you gotta do it co-op. You gotta sit on my couch, and pet my cats, while we power through Balan Wonderworld. Like that's like a we make it a day. We order pizza. We interview the pizza guy on leftist politics when he drops it off. Then he tells us to fuck off.
You know, that is probably one of the few games that you can play and also manage your cats at the same time.
Because the game only has one button.
Yeah.
It's the Kirby Air Ride of platformers.
Like I said, that's what makes it couch co-op. Yeah, couch co-op with an armchair leftist experience.
Hey man, my gun has an anarchist symbol on it. I'm good. I'm not an armchair leftist.
Yeah, and it's even better. You know you're an anarchist because you don't like the symbol that you have on your gun.
Yeah, I don't like the symbol.
That's truly it.
What is the most anarchist animal?
Okay, is this to create a Sonic OC, or is this just all
both? We're creating the new anarchist flag and also a Sonic OC.
Froyo said crows. That's a good one.
That is a really good one. They have like a really good social dynamic. They work together all the time, and they also just have this sort of like energy.
Scott said honey badger.
Yeah, but honey badger don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The problem is honey badger is a lone wolf, and anarchy is all about like collectivism and being friends with people.
That said, you think honey badgers vote on anything? Honey badgers. Let's see. Other animals.
Oh my god, I am just not even.
How about dolphins?
Maybe they're kind of mean. Like they just kind of have like I'm gonna be a bully streak though. They're good though because
Rays and dolphins are frat bros.
That's true.
Just in time for the start of the stream. So.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the stream. I'm going to be tackling the world's hardest Sonic the Hedgehog level.
Yeah, dolphins are high-key problematic. So...
They do get high, though, and that's pretty cool.
Let's see. Anarchist. I guess I don't know about enough money on this to really say.
I do like pros. Individual freedoms with collective effort for the greater good.
What the hell? What? Froyo, the comment you sent got blocked by Automod for some reason. Froyo said, piranhas. Automod blocked it for misogyny.
What?
I don't know.
I guess we know what the most misogynistic animal in the animal kingdom is. It's piranhas. Is that like a
Have you ever met a
women?
piranha that didn't hate women? Let's be honest. You put a woman in a piranha tank, what are they gonna do?
Actually,
leave her alone?
Probably not do much, because piranhas actually aren't as aggressive as people think.
Yeah, Scott, I do wonder if it's like if there's a dog whistle related to it or something. Yeah, it's a euphemism. Let's look up piranha missile.
You know, at least when you get smacked by night, it puts you into a cutscene. And then you don't lose any rings in the cutscene. You're gonna do the fucking laser.
Disproving Hollywood stereotypes. The bare bones piranha behavior. This is probably what you're talking about. Piranha attacks are extremely rare.
Yeah, they are. It's pretty neat. Everyone thinks it's just that when they do eat, it is like it is pretty horrifying to see.
I'm not finding any articles off the top of the search that mention the piranhas and misogyny in the same place. However, I did find this very good headline: Snoop Dogg's top blunt roller is a woman.
Is a what?
Hell yeah, a woman.
Women win again.
Yeah. Common W.
Common Snoop W. Snoop W dog.
It's not Snoop's W, it's women's W.
That's true.
Thanks, women, for rolling great porn.
Oh wait, did we talk about? I think we gotta take down our streams because I don't think we said we talk about drugs on our streams.
Oh. That's okay, because if you lose, then we'll start the stream over.
It's a slur for harlot. Isn't harlot already supposed to kind of be a slur?
That's funny. We made a pejorative for a pejorative.
That's pretty good. The other night, I was coming home from work, and I saw a person dressed up as a princess walking into a bookstore. And, like, because it gets dark relatively early, I'm like, why is this person dressed up as a princess at night? And then I realized that they're probably going to be reading. But, like, my first instinct was, huh, what a choice.
Good work, Scott. Your testing has confirmed that the word slut does indeed get automated.
That's true. I can't believe that it's taken so long for Piranha to get reclaimed by the fish.
I've also realized now that I have officially
A fish?
whitelisted slut.
Good.
You know what? That's fine. We don't shame that here.
But we do. I do.
If you would call me that, it would factually be incorrect. But I would appreciate the vibe that you're.
But what if I said you're a slut for bread? I do think you missed the point of being officially, because we're talking about piranhas.
No, yeah, I know, I got it.
I know, but you didn't laugh at it.
I'm sorry. I have some bad news.
Ah, damn, it wasn't funny.
I'm gonna say it's terminal. I'm afraid I'm not a laugher forever. That's one tough thing that comes with when we're doing our best bits for familiar territory is that unfortunately I don't laugh that much.
That's how I know I got a good one, when I make you laugh.
Yeah, but then that ends up with an issue in that sometimes the bits are disproportionately you laughing, and then I feel bad because it feels like I'm, as the editor, only picking Brantley bits or whatever.
You know what? One of my
so I try to balance it out when I can.
You know what one of my favorite episodes we've ever done is, because of the editing, the Wish Upon the Pleiades one, just because the whole, like, where Sonic, the whole,
I want
like,
you to know that Scott's playing a game with me right now where he throws things into the chat and sees if Automod catches.
The dangerous game, Scott.
Oh god. Wait, what the hell? Oh yeah, that's right.
The Wish Upon the Pleiades, because every time we make a card pun, you go beep beep, and I think that's the funniest shit. It gets me every time. I fucking die every time I listen to it.
Oh god.
We already did.
We did already.
Bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Froyo asked, "Do you lose when the word doesn't get auto-modded?" Good question. I think this is a game that doesn't really have rules.
Or a winner.
I think it's more of a toy than anything. Halfway through.
If I don't get fucked by his tail swipe, I think if I just calm down, I think if I just go into a flow state right now.
Yeah.
The problem is that I can't put Wyvern on tilt by making fun of him.
Do you want silence?
No. I'm much better when I talk. It's why everyone hates playing Smash Bros. Against me, except for Tucker. I finished a book today, or yesterday.
What was the book?
I finished there's I was reading a trilogy called the Skullomance trilogy, which is about wizards. I finished the trilogy. It's okay. It kind of had an unsatisfying ending. I felt like they tried to make it as happy as possible, and I don't think it needed it. I think it would have been a much more impactful ending if it was a little bit more sad. It is really funny, because I don't know if you can dodge that. It is really funny because the rules of Magic are, like, about belief, and there's these creatures that what they do is they devour people, and then they just constantly live off their essence forever, and so the people aren't truly, like, dead. And so the main character creates a spell to fight them that she calls "You Are Already Dead." And I think that's the funniest shit.
That's so happy. Great for them.
It's fine. It's about it's pretty. It has some decent leftist messages. Like, the entire point is that this school that they send wizards to is just, like, insanely unsafe, but the rich people of the world don't want to change it because their kids get all the privilege of all their, like, all of their magical training of living with a bunch of the world's best wizards. I thought he was going to go into the animation. And so they get through the school just fine. And they I don't win. I have to have more than 100 rings. And so they don't try and fix the school, and then it's about dismantling the systems. It's okay. It's okay. I think my biggest gripe is that the characters kind of are meh. Like the main character is this girl who's incredibly like, she has like very like, she's just like very mean to everything. With like, it's like, oh, she has good reason to be mean, and she does, but I like characters who are right most of the time, but when you make them always right, then I'm like, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
She's always right. That's the thing. And she's also the most powerful wizard ever. And it's not even a competition.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like a magic school, a dark academia magic school, it's a good read. And if you hate rich people, it talks about that too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm just like Law from Tekken 8. I haven't seen that.
Definitely hit you.
Let me see if I can make it.
This is probably the last one. Bro, yo, blue hasn't been the best color for a long time. I can't remember the. I guess Esper Legends right now is the best color in standard. But like modern decks are all about the black right now. Black is like the best color in every format right now because stupid cards. It's blue, black, white. But it only really runs blue for a single card. And it's a white, black, blue card.
It was what I was thinking of. When you said like, oh, you can read this if you hate rich people. In Tekken 8, Law has an intro where he just shouts, "I hate rich people."
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's the first 2 seconds of that video. I just thought.
Let me try this trial. Oh, dude, that's dope as hell. Thanks, Scott. I'm going to do one last full run, and then we'll probably call it for tonight. This is hard as shit. And the worst part is that I have to climb the tower next time we do this. And there's no grinding. This is all skill. That is just full of nonsense, if I'm being honest.
So, when you beat this, will this officially be the hardest set of bosses that you've beaten in a video game, or will you still give that to Splatoon 2's extra?
I mean, this is probably harder, but part of me feels like it's harder because it's poorly designed, not because it's actually a hard boss fight. Like, the fact that there's so much inconsistencies with the logic of how these boss fights go, and also like the parry system is just really bad. This is harder.
But like maybe a 15-second mess up buffer in this whole trial.
Yeah, you basically like. I feel like you need to beat Giganto with 300 rings, or at least close enough. And the problem is that he has. I didn't say anything about parry.
You just usually say the parry mechanic.
Oh my god. There is a way that you can dodge the laser, and I cannot remember how I did it, but there. but he still slapped.
Yeah, I don't
But
know why.
but I bet that slap still used less.
Scott, the game is over. Everyone knows this because it's an important piece of game terminology for Shadows of the Damned.
God, why? It's like you can't even do something. He like reels back, but then he. It's different timing. It is literally different timing. If I can get him in 290.
Does the timing change halfway through the fight?
Yeah, once his little lasers start coming, it changes the spin timing. Well, and also if he hits you with the lasers, it also knocks you back. All right.
Yeah, Scott, that is true. Meaty Boner Hit is one of those that's, not very often played, but is kind of a cult classic.
And it is only when you're playing Saturday.
Yeah, I should have clarified. Meaty Boner Hit being the indie classic game made specifically off of people who enjoyed naming Meaty Boner Hits in other fighting games. Not unlike Yomi Hustle being made out of, the whole, like, Yomi aspect of many fighting games.
Where's Sonic?
Oh, we've got a question from Mike Clark, WWE. Who do you think will voice Shadow in Sonic movie?
If it's not Hayden Christensen, I will cry, Mike. I will cry if it's not.
But it really is the kind of thing where it's like, well, if it's not that, I don't know that I could ever come up with anything better. I never would have thought of it originally, but it's that perfect X factor of being fitting enough and also really funny that it would turn out to be that.
I think the thing is that that's the thing about the Sonic movies is that they have to be like good at what like their cast, but also it has to be kind of funny. Like Idris Elba is an incredible Knuckles. It is very funny that he's Knuckles.
It has to be at least one small part insulting and one part embarrassing,
Yeah.
to be part of it. It has to be, it is the, like, it is cringe and kills cringe, right? Like, it is part and parcel of that.
Who do you want it to be, Mike?
Yeah, Mike, let us know. And thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for joining me getting really mad at the final boss rush in Sonic Frontiers DLC. It's not.
This is our second stream today. So, we had this for a good old 2 hours. I would love to see David Humphrey, Jason Griffith, Kurt Thornton, or even Adam Driver.
I think Adam Driver could do a good job. He did good in some of, like, I know that everyone's like, oh, he's Kylo Ren, but I think he has a lot of good his other stuff's really good.
I weirdly, like, when my mind sort of, if someone's like, hey, think of the Shadow voice, I think it ends up going to the Jason Griffith version, which is, it's a little weird because obviously he's known as Sonic first, right? And then he picked up the Shadow voice as well. But yeah, my mind just gravitates towards that. But I think really any of the older Shadow voices, I'm much more partial to than the newer ones. Which of course is at least partially to nostalgia reasons, but I also think some of the newer ones try a little too hard to go raspy or cool, and they kind of lose out on don't want to say normal, but just like I don't know, like original Shadow was kind of a little bit unintentionally lame. And then that kind of worked. Kind of you mentioned before, like a character that's right about a lot of things, but not everything. Once they're right about everything, it becomes a boring. Say like Sonic Boom Sonic. I don't remember who voices him there, but I'm not quite into that voice. It's trying too hard to push him way into the comedic version of the character. I think it kind of loses the semblance of it isn't quite as funny because it doesn't have its grounding in also being Shadow's own ridiculous concept. Yeah, and as Scott said, it's very possible they'll, having gone with Colleen for Tails, that they just go ahead and pick, a game voice actor for him. Shadow's had a lot of voice actors now I think about it.
I remember when you were a Shadow voice actor.
What was that?
When you were a Shadow voice actor for Sonic Forces, not Sonic Forces. What was the one on the Game Boy Advance that was an RPG, or the DS?
That was Sonic Chronicles Dark Brotherhood?
Yeah, you voice Shadow in that game?
No characters have voices in that game. All of them have stock sounds.
I'm pretty sure.
And some of them share stock sounds.
I'm pretty sure you were Shadow in that game. I remember you told me when that game came out in middle school.
Yeah, only character has complete voice acting in Shadow, and I did it.
I would love. I will say I do love that Colleen did get to voice Tails again.
Yeah.
And you got to think, like, they had to try out, right? Like, they had to have some people in mind, obviously, but the fact that they were like, yeah, Colleen, you do a good job at voicing Tails all the time. Voice Tails in the movie. That's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, I think it's impressive too that her doing Tails in the movie is really solid, because not every iteration of her take at Tails is equal either. Like, depending on the material she's given, sometimes it's a little tougher.
Yeah.
Like there's I want to say that like the Pontac and Graf era of writing. Sometimes it's a little tough for her to like sell a decent line when the writing is just kind of not funny, like
right.
When it's set up to be funny and it's just not landing. She struggles a little bit to get the impact there. Because it's not clear how to sell it, right? Are we hamming it up, or are we, playing it in her usual way that she plays Tails? And so I was very happy with her performance in the movie.
Who played Edward in Twilight? What's his name again?
That's why am I spacing it?
Yeah, I literally was just talking about him because his performance in the Blue Heron is fucking great.
Yeah,
James Patterson. Yeah, I could see him doing a decent Shadow too. But only if he's Robert Patterson, not James Patterson. James Patterson's a fucking book writer.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't believe he writes his own books. James Patterson, I read a lot of his books. I read the Maximum Ride series in high school. And I don't believe I didn't believe he was a real, like, I believe he's a real author. Like, don't get me wrong, like, he's real. But I believe he's a collective of authors for the most part, because I was like, he releases books at an ungodly amount. Why did that break? Sometimes I can one cycle it. But I think James Patterson just has a bunch of ghostwriters that write his books. He has some weird shit. So I don't know if you know this, but you know what the Maximum Ride books are? Do you remember them? They're kind of popular.
Vaguely. I've never read them myself.
They're about bird children, right? Like, they're about kids who had wings and bird, like, they could fly, right? Like, and it's very funny because, like, the first 3 books, yeah, but that was at a time where you had nothing to do. Yeah, everyone was Angel from X-Men, including a character named Angel. But the first 3 books are like about these kids escaping from a lab and then fighting like an evil like science organization, and then later it becomes like a anti like mega company and like environmentalist book, which I didn't like as a kid. I'm sure that I would enjoy it more as an adult. But it's based off of another book that he wrote with the same character. So like a same iteration of a character, evil scientist lab with bird children. But like one of the weird things about it, I remember when I read it in high school, is I really liked the first book because it wasn't like, it was like detectives solving this shit. Come on, where's Sonic? Oh. Yeah, and you can't even see him. Stupid. But the book is like about a detective that finds this girl with wings in an evil science lab, blah blah blah. The first one's fine, and the second one, like it's like, oh, we're gonna send you to school, blah blah blah. What's your life as a normal person? And it ends up with her laying an egg, which, and she's like 13 in it. It's
just like
it's just like weird, and I'm like, yeah, I just remember it being very very strange.
Here's a question, since you're more in the realm of fantasy novels than I am. Is it normal to just have a lot of books right now that love putting bone in the title?
Bone is just a really of blank and blank is how,
yeah,
is the fantasy equivalent of like I am so
the
mad
popular title heuristic.
Yeah, like even like Sanderson, who, you know, his Stormlight novels were like The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, and Rhythm of War, right? And then his 5th novel, he released the title, and it was like The Knights of Wind and Truth, and people were like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Brandon? Are you fucking kidding me?" And so he scrapped it, and now it's just Wind and Truth, which I still think is not a great title, but it doesn't matter. All right, we're hitting the 2-hour mark. Okay.
Yeah, the joke that I saw made was of bone and bone.
All right. I am gonna head out. Thank y'all for joining me. If you like what you listen to, you can follow us on YouTube and listen to us talk about anime, or you can follow us here on Twitch. You don't need to do any of that because we are not your dads.
You made it to the end.